Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of the Draft Huddle. We have a special edition for you today. We're going to do a
Wow.
mock draft, right, Foots?
Yo, Joe Rod, I brought this idea to you, and you said, let's go. So let's go, bro. Like, I think the fans deserve this. We're going to still hit tight ends. Are we going to do quarterbacks, Joe?
Yeah, we can. I just mainly want to talk a bunch of crap about them, but it'll be fun.
That's
It'll be
wild.
fun.
You know what, Joe? People could say we agree. You know what? Everybody thinks we agree on everything. I don't care. Don't watch this show because we have the people who have been rocking with Cowboys Huddle from day mother effing one. And you know what? One thing I say about Joe, I'll give Joe a lot of credit. Draft community, number one, has been late to the party on a lot of guys. Go back and watch me and Joe's scouting reports, number one, and how we've been kind of online with who this team will want. I'm talking about the day after the Seattle game. Huh, Joe?
Yeah, no doubt, man. We've been hitting it hard from the get-go.
And as far as, I say all that to say, Joe has been consistent. These quarterbacks got pushed up. For what reason? I don't know. In this mock, obviously, I'm going to take some, but, it's listen, these guys aren't franchise guys. And we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in the mock, but just, when you say that, Joe, it's true. You've been extremely consistent when it comes to that. So we're in cap mode, baby.
All right, cap mode time. Let's roll this baby out.
Yeah.
Here we go. Who you got for the first pick, Foots?
So Joe, do you want to just say the team and then I'll just give the pick, or how do you want to do it?
Yeah, just say the team and the pick, and then we'll go from there. I don't have the draft order in front of me.
Okay, I got it right here. So everybody knows, got a bunch of notes, so it's not just like we're just going off the top of the head. These exercises are very hard, Cowboys fans. Try to do a mock draft. You got to get in the head of each team. It has to make sense. I didn't do trades. The only trade that I'm gonna we'll talk about it when we get there. But number one, the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns select Sam Darnold. Everything I'm hearing, that's going to be the pick. Would it be my pick? No. But that's the pick, Joe. Like it, love it, hate it. What do you think?
Yeah, and that's the thing about mocks. You're kind of just going by who you think the team is going to pick, regardless of what you personally think of the pick. Personally, the player, I don't really care for the player. I think, sometimes he plays scared sometimes. But, I mean, they see something in him. And like you said, reports are that might be their guy. So I like that pick, man. It makes a lot of sense for those guys. I mean, they keep on drafting quarterbacks. They might as well keep the trend going.
The interceptions, Joe, the untimely interceptions. And, you really pointed out to me that at times the game gets really big for Sam. But
yeah.
Let's see. You know what I mean? All right, so pick two for me. And this is going to be a shocker because everybody has Saquon penciled in. Okay? But I'm going to go Bradley Chubb. North Carolina State, D end. Giants just lost JPP. Makes a lot of sense. Now, I hear a lot of people saying that the Giants should go ahead and draft their franchise quarterback. Well, I'm just going to take the approach that they don't like any of these quarterbacks. And, it's rumored that a guy like Josh Rosen, he wouldn't be too fond of sitting on the bench. He's often a guy who thinks he's the smartest person in the room. And he actually is a very smart player. The problem is the durability issues and all of that. But I just gave the Giants Bradley Chubb, thought outside the box there because, again, that's just kind of how I feel. What do you think, Joe?
Man, the Bradley Chubb at number 2 would be, that's a good pick for them, And I agree. Like, quarterback, who would they take? Maybe Rosen, maybe. But I don't know, man. I just don't get a sense that, these quarterbacks – the Giants are a little bit more methodical. They're a little bit more they make a little bit more sense as far as the picks. You know what I mean? So Chubb right there, like you said, they got rid of JPP. Seems like the perfect pick for those guys.
Yeah, man. And, another thing to keep in mind with that Giants pick, and for the exercise, we'll just go ahead and pick for Buffalo. But Buffalo's going to try to move it too because they need a quarterback, and maybe that's where Rosen goes. But the Giants, like, I really believe that they believe that Eli can still play. So, you know, they have a great relationship with Eli. They love Eli. Even the benching really hurt their franchise. You know what I mean? Remember that, Joe? So, I think they want to get that team better, Joe. You know what I mean? The team. I don't think that they think that they're a 2-win team. So the drama with Odell, I don't think the quarterback makes so much sense there. All right, New York Jets, I have them taking Josh Rosen, Joe. He just seems like a Jets quarterback to me. I don't know even if that makes sense, but I just have them taking Josh Rosen. What do you think, Joe?
Josh Rosen, yeah. I mean, they got a lot of quarterbacks there. They got Bridgewater on a 1-year deal, Josh McCown. So, I mean, it looks like, you know, they want to throw quarterbacks at it until they find their guy. So a quarterback there sounds like a plan, man.
Yeah. You know, hits a need because obviously McCown is an older player. Bridgewater, you don't know what's going to happen with him and recovering from that injury. So I have him off the board there. Now, Cleveland. Here's the pick where the Browns knocked this draft out the park. I would have went Saquon 1. They didn't get a chance to. Got wiped out with Chubb. So I'm going to give them Saquon Barkley at number 4. Joe, like it, love it, hate it.
Yeah, I love that pick, man. You know, for me, I would take him. I would put him number 1 there for the Browns, but you know, they got Hyde. So, yeah, I mean, Saquon Barkley to the Colts, that would be unbelievable, man. I think, you know, Andrew Luck, he needs that guy. You know, they need a marquee running game to help him out, come back.
No, not like that. Darnold would need him with the Browns. You thinking of the Colts, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm saying that. Saquon.
Yeah. No, because I think you said Andrew Luck, but my bad, Joe. I messed you up.
Wait,
sorry about that.
What pick are we on? 4?
No, because I put him. Yeah, I put Saquon 4 to Cleveland because I think you're thinking. Remember the Colts traded out of that pick.
Yeah.
So now they're
right.
6. Yeah, I knew what you were saying. I knew what you were saying was like, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. So they get the quarterback and the running back. They should be in business, man. Plus all these crazy trades they've been doing. So I mean, on paper, they look like they're poised to make a big jump and, you know, maybe compete for that division somehow.
Joe, could Cleveland trade out of that pick to you?
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. They're looking to they're always looking to wheel and deal. So could they trade 4 out of there? Yeah, I could see it happening. They already got their guy. Buffalo? Yeah.
Let's say Buffalo can't get to the Giants. Would they go to Cleveland?
I think they'll make a shot at it. You know, they'll probably make a run at it and see what they can get, you know. But you know, how many picks are they going to look for, you know? There's going to be people are going to want to move into the top 5 and top 10. They're going to give up a buttload of picks. So, I mean, they're still rebuilding with McDermott. So, I don't know if they want to give up a bunch of picks with the second-year coach. But, I mean, you never know. They could do that.
Okay, Joe, I agree. All right, man, so moving on to Denver, keeping this thing rolling. I have Denver, who I think this would be, you know, beautiful for John Elway. If Josh Allen, Wyoming quarterback, fell in his lap, you could sit him for a year with Case Keenum. You just picked him up. What do you think about that pick, Joe? Make sense? Like it, love it, hate it?
Yeah, on this one, I don't really like that one. Josh Allen, I would probably go more of a Mayfield. I think they already have the big arm guy sitting there. He's a bust. What's his name? Lynch, Paxton Lynch, big arm guy, total bust, no mobility.
Wow, good hit. Hit.
I could see it. I mean, I could see Josh Allen sitting, but I think, you know, do they want to keep sitting these guys and find out that they're nothing? So I don't know. I think Mayfield for me, but yeah, I could see a quarter. I could definitely see them taking a quarterback there at the end of the day. Yeah, for sure.
Well, you know what, Joe? Great objectivity. Like, I think you're spot on because even as I made a pick and I'm hearing you talk, it's like, wow, they did take Brock Ospu, and he was a dud after his little playoff run. So, and again, same type of quarterback. I think the main reason why I pegged him there was because John Elway's been tied to like everything that that Josh Allen has done, as far as, you know, being at his pro days, being at his pro day, his bowl game, all of it. And the arm talent, I think, would intrigue him. But it's like you said, you know, Allen has accuracy issues, to say the least. And he's a guy who the completion efficiency just wasn't great in not a bad conference, but a small conference that in a lower level conference, should I say, in Wyoming. So I think you're spot on. I think that Baker's my QB1, but you know what these teams would do is kind of what we're trying to figure out. So I'm spot on with that. The Colts at 6, Joe. This is easy. This is the easiest pick to make. Quenton Nelson, what do you think about it? That's your boy.
Yeah, that's my boy Q. So fortify that line for Andrew Luck, because he needs it, man. If he gets on the ground again and takes some more hits, the career's over. I mean, his career's already kind of in the balance. So fortify that with the beast, Quenton Nelson, the juggernaut. He's just going to maul people. He's going to raise, you know, the play of that offensive line, just him himself there. So that would be a good pick, a home run pick for them. So, yeah, for sure. Quenton Nelson, man, good pick.
As far as your ratings go, Joe, I don't know if you've done a board or a big board, or if you plan on doing one. Is he your surest player? Like is he the can't miss player of this draft for you, Joe?
Yeah, he's the can't miss guy. This guy was pro ready, you know, before the season started, you know, for Notre Dame, and then you see what he did during the season, and it just further confirmed this guy probably could have came out the year before and be mauling people right now. So, yeah, he's a can't miss prospect, man. There's no bust factor to this guy. He's the real deal, hard worker. And, you know, they got the best O-line coach there in the business, who actually went to the Bears now. So, I mean, good pedigree, good technique. Be a great pick for those guys.
Joe, is he better than Zach Martin to you? I've seen that comp a lot, and he's better. And I know that these analysts get super excited around this time of year. Like, that's been the whole thing about Zeke and Saquon. Well, Saquon's better than Zeke. Then I heard something good from Dane Brugler the other day. It was like, well, you know, Zeke is actually much better between the tackles than Saquon, and you got to be careful. Saquon dances a lot. I was like, wow, that's a really good point. And Zeke was a better blocker. So, do you think around draft time some of these analysts get crazy? Is Nelson really a better player than Zach to you, Joe? Just a quick question, because I know you watched him being a Notre Dame fan.
I think. No, I honestly, man, to be real, I don't think that he is. I think he could be, but right now, coming out, I mean, Zach Martin, I think he's just a tad bit more athletic, you know, especially in the zone blocking scheme. You know, he's able to pull and at ease. It doesn't look awkward for him. Quenton Nelson, he's a bit more hulkish kind of player. He can still do it, but not as smooth as Zach Martin. So slight edge. Yeah, slight edge, man. Slight edge to Martin.
Okay, Joe. Thank you, man. Listen, you watched Quenton Nelson. Was that your first scouting report, Joe?
Yeah, totally, man. It was one of my first ones, Quenton Nelson. I just wanted to get the name out there, man, because, you know, people, you know, during the end of the season, people are starting to get names and who's out there, who's good, and this and that, and, you know, player I know the most.
You knocked him out the park, Joe. Seriously, like, and that's what I like with us, man. Still sharp and chill. All right, Joe. Now, just to recap, first 6 picks, we went. Where do we go? Sam Darnold. We went Bradley Chubb. We went Josh Rosen. We went Saquon 4. We went Josh Allen. Now we're 6. We went Quenton Nelson. So, players left on the board, Joe. Wow. Derwin James still there. Vita Vea's still there. Minka's still there. Denzel Ward's still there. Woo, Joe. Things are looking good. 4 quarterbacks. Actually, Baker Mayfield's still there, so 4 quarterbacks haven't went. 3 have. Joe, Tampa Bay. This is where, to me, Dallas will have to get Derwin, because their safeties are proof. Now, Tampa has a decision to make between Derwin and Minka. Okay? Minka more of a free, more of a rangier player. Derwin more of a box, but has range and can be a chameleon and can guard tight ends and can play in the slot. They both are really good, just do, different things better than one or the other. So, I gave Tampa Bay Derwin James. Sorry, Cowboys fans. What do you think, Joe?
No, I think you hit it right on the head. The way that that this mock is going, and it seems really realistic, man. I mean, these picks are really realistic. So, Minka or James, and you go with James. Yeah, I mean, I have James over Minka because we're talking about a safety, right? I have James above Minka myself. So, man, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, yeah, I mean, listen, with these guys, it's really apples and oranges. What's your flavor? What is that scheme gonna entail? What does Dirk Cutter want to do? They had J.J. Wilcox, that didn't work. They need attitude on that defense. The middle of that defense is so small. With Gerald McCoy, maybe they would want to team him up with somebody else. I mean, so a linebacker could be in play there. Obviously, Quenton Nelson's off the board. So, and they do need – now, listen, they need to protect Jameis Winston. They need to protect Jameis Winston, Joe, but I just think to shore up the back end of that defense. So, all right, Joe, let's go to Chicago, and I have Chicago taking Denzel Ward. So, 2 secondary players go off the board, Joe. What do you think about Denzel Ward, Ohio State cornerback?
I love Denzel Ward myself, man. I think he's a really good player, man. Sending him to the Bears, and I think they lost Fuller, right? They lost, or did they keep him? I forget.
I think they still have Fuller. The Skins lost Fuller, unless you're talking about his brother.
Yeah,
you might be talking about. Maybe they did lose Fuller. So I know that cornerback's a need for them. Not super familiar with their roster. I know receivers a need for them too, and that's where you would have to watch Calvin Ridley, but because Kevin White obviously didn't pan out.
Total bust, man. Total bust. That's the scary thing about receivers, man. Gosh.
Dude.
Right?
Woo! Yo, we know we're going to talk an hour for when we get to Dallas's pick, but Denzel Ward off the board, Joe. You like it to the Bears?
No, I do like him. I like him a lot. He's one of my top-rated cornerbacks. Good fit, man. I think they need defense for sure. So, Chicago Bear defense, they're back.
They're back, Joe. Okay, San Francisco. A bunch of ways they could go. They could go Minka. They got to figure out what's going on with Reuben Foster. I actually gave them, Joe. I gave them the first linebacker off the board. It's going to be Tremaine Edmonds. Can play all 3 linebacker positions. We don't even know if if Reuben Foster is going to be allowed to play football next year with all the trouble that he's been in. So I think this hits a need. What do you think, Joe?
I like the pick, and Reuben Foster just looks like he's going to be one of these guys, man. So I'm glad we didn't get him. Yeah, man. But my thing would be, would they go back-to-back linebackers? That would kind of be like them admitting they screwed up. So I'm not sure, but I do like Edmonds, man. I like him a lot. I think the size, the speed, has a lot of potential, man. Has a lot of potential, but still young too. So, does he have room to grow? You know what I mean?
No, 100%, Joe. 110%. Does he have room to grow? I think he's a very I think he's a long player. He's young, Joe. I think he's going to be the youngest player in this draft.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was reading, so he's not. Yeah, he's not where he's gonna be. You're gonna draft him. You're gonna have to put some work in. But John Lynch, defensive guy, I think that makes a lot of sense, Joe. So moving on, let's get it rolling, Joe. Oakland. Now, here they could go secondary. They could go a bunch of different ways. I'm gonna throw a wrench in things, Joe. Okay. I was struggling between Vita Vea and Roquan Smith, and I went Roquan Smith. I think that with John Gruden back in the fold, I think he'll see Derek Brooks and Roquan Smith, a guy that the Cowboys, have had contact with, that the Cowboys will want, but he goes off the board right there. Joe, what do you think?
Nah, I think it's spot on, man. You hit it right on the head, and that's actually, I've actually been thinking linebacker for them all the way. I wouldn't even be surprised if they took Evans, man. I mean, either of those guys, physicality, but like you said, the best comp there, Derek Brooks is probably going to be more of, the Roquan, with the way he plays. He's got similar play that Derek Brooks used to do, so. I think that'll be a perfect fit for them, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and I think they want to play fast defense. Now, Oakland's defense it's a work in progress. So the next 3 picks for them could be tackle, it could be corner. Oakland has to really hit this draft up. They have a good offensive line, have some good players on the outside. Still have Amari Cooper, still have the quarterback intact. So. And David Carr and all of that. So I think now they got to just put their resources and add resources from the defensive side of the ball. So that's a good pick for me, Joe. Miami, here we go, Joe. Here goes Baker. I think the Ryan Tannehill experiment is over. I think that Miami needs to get some excitement back in that stadium, some excitement. And I think Adam Gase is coaching for a job, and there's with Ryan Tannehill, you just don't know what he is, and it's year 4 for him, 4 or 5. I think they grabbed Baker Mayfield, a guy who's just a spark plug, a shorter quarterback, but he's very accurate. Texas coach came out today. He played against all 3 of the quarterbacks coming out, and he said off the back that Baker Mayfield. He's seen some of the best, but he said that Baker Mayfield was the real deal. His arm talent was special. All of these things, Joe. And Baker's been R1, and people will say we're crazy. You know what I mean, Joe?
Yeah, it's the truth. Absolute truth. Absolutely, man.
So, what do you think about that pick right there, Joe?
Man, I think, again, and not to repeat myself, but I think you hit it right on the head with Tannehill. I mean, at this point, he's just a quarterback, man. He's completely upgradable. He reminds me that his career arc is kind of taken the same as Carson Palmer. Just a quarterback getting injured. He'll probably land somewhere else and be serviceable for 2 years, then move on. He's done. Get Baker Mayfield in here. They've already been purging the roster. Keep it going. Get your own guys. Mayfield's perfect fit there, I would think, man. I like that pick there.
Perfect fit, Joe. Can't say enough about Mayfield. People say Johnny Manziel. I think they're wrong. I think he's a leader. You want your quarterback to have some type of, character, swagger. I mean, you don't want him to be a nutcase.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's having fun. He's competing. When you think about Darnold, I'm kind of scared that when he gets in the locker room with grown men who need him to be a leader, it could get too big for him. You know what I mean, Joe?
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
That is the most underrated thing when evaluating these players. You got to understand, you have to lead a 35-year-old. You have to lead a 25-year-old. You have to lead the diva receiver. You have to be out front of the charge. I think that Baker can do that. His teammates will run through a wall for him. So I got him going off the board to Miami. Buffalo, Joe.
All right.
Watch this, Joe. Good players are getting pushed back. I'm going to go Lamar Jackson. So now that's 5 quarterbacks
Ooh,
in
man.
the first 12 picks. I had to, Joe. And I'm going to tell you why. People will say, well, they just got rid of Tyrod, blah, 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 blah. Lamar Jackson is a way better player than Tyrod Taylor. He's way more athletic. He's way more dynamic. Buffalo, if they stay here now, we gave the scenario that they may move up to try to get somebody else. They're not going to go into the season with Nate Peterman. What do you have, that 5-pick game?
It was It was awful.
It was terrible. It was terrible, Joe. This is a defense that's not far away. They played Jacksonville good in the playoffs. I think this guy could bring a spark. Look at what Deshaun Watson did. I think that teams will get it wrong by passing on Lamar Jackson. I was very skeptical of him his junior year. I saw a lot of growth this year. The team wasn't as good, but I saw a lot of growth. What do you think about that pick, Joe? That's a funny one right there, huh, Joe?
Yeah, that's one where it's like, well, yeah, I could see it happening, man. I could see it happening, and as a Cowboys fan, I hope it does because like you said, with the talent is getting pushed down. So, yeah, man, they've been chasing a quarterback for years already. So, do they try to land one here? If they don't make that move, so. Lamar Jackson, what do you think about the comp that he has some Michael Vick in him? Do you think that there's some comp to that, or are people way off on that?
Oh, it's a comp, Joe. I think Lamar's not as fast as Vick. I think Vick's straight line speed was crazy.
Yeah.
He was really like a 4.3 athlete. I think Lamar actually throws the ball a little bit better. And I think he's more twitchy in the pocket. Now, it's scary, but, let's stop. Every black quarterback that runs isn't RG3. You know what I mean, Joe? So let's stop. Every black quarterback that runs isn't Vic. It's definitely got fans and lovers of the game. Lamar Jackson, he can come and turn the Bills up. They can go out and beat New England twice next year. Because the Patriots have slow linebackers and can't do anything. You mean to tell me Lamar Jackson and Shady McCoy in the same backfield isn't scary? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They already defensively played New England well. So this is just a thought. That's what this exercise is. It's just our thoughts, Joe. And so I'm glad you brought that up. He was on the NFL Network. Michael Vick was. Give the kid a chance, man. Don't lowball a kid,
Yeah, exactly.
When a former Colts owner, GM, did that, I thought that was wrong.
Yeah,
and I thought that
I did too.
These guys got to realize how much pull they have, especially what's his name? Joe?
Bill Polian, man. He seemed like senile. It just made him. It just made him uncredible when he said something like that. Like, come on, man, are you serious?
Now, I mean, Joe, the game, and that's really a problem with what Dallas does too, Joe. It's one of those things. It's like, the game has changed. The game, it filters up from high school to college to the pros. The game is changing. It's not the same. You know what I mean? And so, hey, give the kid a chance, Joe. Now here's a big pick right here. So the Redskins now have their pick. They could go corner. They could go D tackle. Deron Payne, they could go Vita Vea, they could go, Jair Alexander. The Skins got to understand, me being in the DMV area, their secondary is going to be in shambles, especially with Breland gone, Scandrick. We know what Scandrick is, Joe.
Yeah.
We're definitely not worried about that. But all in all, I gave them Vita Vea. They're still in that 3-4 system. They needed a real plugger. Vita Vea goes off the board here, Joe. Make sense?
Yeah, it is. I mean, he'll be like their true nose tackle, 3-4 guy. And honestly, at the end of the day, I think that's a better fit for him. We've kind of talked about him. I just covered him recently. And for me, I just, I know fans like him, for Cowboys fit. But at the end of the day, I think he's a better fit for a 3-4 nose guard. So, good for them. And honestly, I mean, he'll have his hands full against the Cowboys. It won't be easy for him. But good pick, man. I could see it happening.
My notes on Vita Vea: the first 2 quarters are great. As the game wears on, his rushes aren't the same.
That's what it is. He gasses out, man.
Yep. That's the notes on him, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Green Bay at 14. Some people scoffed at me when I said they could go receiver, but let's see. They may not go receiver. But I have the Packers going a name that people may not be familiar with. Josh Jackson still on the board. A couple other corners, Jair Alexander. But let's go Mike Hughes here, Joe. Big corner, UCF corner.
Yeah,
was on that team. Makes a lot of sense, Joe. What do you think?
Yeah, it's like you said. Not some people may not be familiar with him, but he's a riser, man, and he's getting a lot of attention at his pro days and getting big visits from teams. So people are hip to him. They know about him. So yeah, I could see him going at the top half of this draft for sure. No doubt, man. That wouldn't surprise me one bit. And they just traded Randall, so they do have some needs there in their secondary.
100%. They're gonna their secondary it's need. It's a need. Corners a need. You feel like the Packers just haven't had a good defense in a long time, Joe. It feels like since Reggie White was playing almost.
I agree.
So nonetheless, he was on that defense with Shaquem Griffin. That defense was really good, even in that game against Auburn. Mike Hughes was making plays that Peach Bowl. So I just think it's a really good pick, Joe. All right, 15. We're getting closer to the Cowboys pick. So Arizona's wiped out at quarterback, or are they? I thought about going Mason Rudolph here, Joe, and I just couldn't really bring myself to that pick, Joe. They need help at left tackle. They need help on that offensive line. So maybe they go quarterback in a second. Let a guy fall to them. But for the value, I went Colton Miller, UCLA tackle. Now, depending on how you have these tackles, maybe you may want to put Mike McGlinchey there, Joe, Connor Williams. But their O-line could use some help David Johnson out. What do you think, Joe? Help, and obviously they just got Sam Bradford, who definitely needs to be protected. What do you think about the pick, Joe?
Yeah, this one I don't like it. Colton Miller, I think he's just I think he's one of these guys that did good at the combine, and that's the reason why he's rising a little bit, getting kind of in the conversation in the first round. But I think for left tackle, the marquee, for me the better guy would be McGlinchey.
Okay, Joe. So you have him rated?
Yeah, McGlinchey. Yeah, McGlinchey 1, Connor Williams. Miller. I have him lower, but somebody's gonna fall in love with him and take him, man. No doubt. He's got the traits, he's got the size, but
the measurables, though.
Yeah, he's got the measurables.
Yeah, I think that's the deal. So here goes the pick that is probably gonna scare Cowboys fans. Well, any Cowboys fan who wants a receiver. But let's talk about Baltimore up right now. And quick story on Baltimore. Ozzie Newsome went to Alabama. There's a story out there that last year he told Marlon Humphreys that if you're there, we're gonna draft you. Don't worry about anything else. If you're there, we're gonna draft you. And they drafted Marlon Humphreys. So, I heard about that, and I'm just like, well, we love Calvin Ridley. I love him. You've covered him. I've covered him. Cowboys Nation knows Calvin Ridley. However, if the Cowboys want Calvin Ridley, they have to get in front of Baltimore. It's a need. Receivers a need. He fits what Joe Flacco does best. So perfect, it's not even scary. I mean, it's scary. It's not even funny. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Joe? Calvin Ridley to the Ravens. Cowboys get wiped out.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about this. Even when they got Crabtree, I was like, nah, they're still in business for Ridley, or DJ Moore for that fact. So I don't think getting Crabtree stops them from looking at wide receiver. So yeah, really there makes a lot of sense. Makes a ton of sense. They've been chasing receivers. They keep missing on them. So hopefully with this one, they get it finally.
They hit, Joe. So yeah, that was the pick for me. And I just want Cowboys fans to know, I can't stress this enough, you got to get in front of Baltimore. It's not going to be as easy as there's information out that the Cowboys may want to draft a receiver. And obviously, there's Cortland Sutton, there's Christian Kirk, a bunch of other guys. But I think the league is starting to really get hip that corners, defenders are more important, at least high, than a receiver. It's a list of a lot of guys who've been duds. Kevin White, Laquan Treadwell, Josh Doxson. I mean, we could be here all night talking about some guys who just didn't come in and hit. So everybody's spoiled by that Odell Beckham draft, but it's not going to be that easy. You know that, Joe. So moving on, and I'll start. So Los Angeles Chargers, I went Daron Payne, D tackle. Makes a lot of sense here. Fills a need. Helps Bosa. Helps Melvin Ingram. Joe, what do you think? Like, love, hate?
For the LA Chargers?
For the Chargers, yep.
Daron Payne, yeah. I don't know, man. I'm struggling with him. I'm struggling with Payne because he's like one of these ones that he'll run hot, he'll run cold. Like, which player are you going to get? So,
you spot on. Spot on, Joe. I can't argue with you at all.
So defensive, but I mean, for their scheme, I think, I think he would be a good fit there for those guys. No, as far as
and
just because
I think that's where I'm at with it too, Joe. But I see what you're saying. No, it makes a lot of sense. So, Joe, we're a pick away. The Cowboys are, and off the board goes one of our favorite players, Isaiah Wynn, to Seattle. Joe, what do you think? They have to get that line in order. It almost is a guarantee that they're going to pick somebody on the offensive line. Just pick a position, guard, tackle, center, whatever. Seattle has to go offensive line. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, perfect pick for them, man. Isaiah Wynn, because I mean he's versatile. He can give you, he can kick, he can stay at left tackle, he can play guard. That's one reason I have him. I actually have Wynn above Hernandez, just for that fact. I think that he could play guard for the Cowboys, but if Tyron were to get hurt, they could kick him out to left tackle. It wouldn't be hard, But for Hernandez, more of a guard, it would be more awkward for him to bump out to left tackle. So I have Wynn slightly above Hernandez. Good fit for the Seahawks. Like you said, they got to revamp, and they're rebuilding, whether they want to admit it or not. That team is rebuilding. They got to get it going, and I think they got to start in the trenches on the offensive side. So, yeah, for sure, man. Good pick right there.
Joe, a crazy thing has happened. Minkah Fitzpatrick has fallen. I don't think that I've picked him. And that could happen. Like, that could happen with these quarterbacks getting pushed up. I'm looking at my notes. Can you remember me calling Minkah's name? I just want to make sure, Joe. I don't think that I've called Fitzpatrick's name, and he's a corner safety. Teams may not know how to use him. Yeah. So, Dallas now has a big choice on their hands. Is it Minkah, the free, the rangier guy? Because Derwin is getting pushed like crazy right now. Mm-hmm. We know that, Joe. Yeah. Or is it Rashaan Evans? Now, somebody is going to come in this video and say there's no way that Minkah Fitzpatrick could fall. Well, there was no way that Aaron Rodgers could fall to 24 or Dez Bryant to where he fell to, and obviously the off-field things. But it happens in drafts every year. You know it does, Joe. Josh Allen fell. What was that? Was that last year's draft, Joe? He was penciled in as top 10 pick. He fell to 18 to the Skins, I believe, Joe.
Yeah.
So it can and will happen. Mark my words. Somebody, you're going to look up and say, oh, crap, Denzel Ward's still on the board? Oh, crap. Does a team move up to try to get to him? What do you think, Joe? And all of that, I say all of that to say, as much as I love Minkah Fitzpatrick, I got to go Rashaan Evans, Joe.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. I know. It depends, man. It depends how they have him rated. Would the Cowboys have Fitzpatrick above Evans? I kind of think that they would. So I don't know. I think if it was those two guys, and we know that the full contingency was there today, watching all these guys, right? So We know that went down.
Yeah.
There's a need there at free safety. For me, I would put him at free safety, and you're good, man. That secondary is solidified. It's good to go, ready to rock and roll. But Evans, man, that's our guy, man. So Evans, I would love that pick, man. But so who are you putting in there? Who are you drafting? Evans?
Maybe in another draft. What was that, Joe?
You taking Evans? Is that your guy you penciled in?
Yeah, Evans is my pick. I'm not gonna waffle now. Evans is my pick. So, Joe, we'll kind of we can speed through the rest of these, just for time purposes. So, Detroit Lions, I have them taking Taven Bryan. I watch your video on him. I'm sold. Quick twitch. Cincinnati, that's where Minka goes off the board there. They have a need for safety, so Minka goes there. The Buffalo Bills' second pick, I have them taking Mike McGlinchey. Let's give the Rams – I want to give the Rams Leighton Vander Esch. So let's do these last 4 picks, Joe, and then you can kind of recap those. Taven Bryan, I gave Cincy Minka. I gave Buffalo Mike McGlinchey. And then I gave the Rams Leighton Vander Esch. Because what the Rams have done on defense, all they need is a rock in the middle. Leighton is, we have mixed feelings about Leighton, but of those 4, Joe, Detroit, Cincy, Buffalo, and Los Angeles, what do you think, the Rams?
Man, I love the Taven pick, man. I think this guy he's a wrecking machine, man, a wrecking ball. The guy is, man, he just pops off, man. I really, really like what I've been seeing from him. In the other picks, Vander Esch, man, like you said, the Rams get that guy.
Yeah,
that defense is stacked. That is a stacked defense on paper.
You know what I mean, Joe? And then you put Vander Esch in the middle. It could be scary.
This could be scary. It looks scary on paper. Let's see if it can wrap it all together and not unravel. Because they got some crazy personalities on there. Let's remember that too. So let's see how it comes together.
Let's see how it comes together, Joe. All right, so I'll speed through these ones as well. Carolina takes guard, our boy, Will Hernandez. The Titans take Harold Landry. Atlanta takes Josh Jackson. Makes a lot of sense. So I got Jackson to Atlanta. I got Landry to the Titans. And then I have Will Hernandez to the Panthers. And then to wrap up, Joe, we'll just speed through. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking – I got the Saints, excuse me. What did I have the Saints doing, Joe? I had them – what did I have the Saints doing? I have the Saints taking Arden Key, taking a flyer on him. He's a nutcase, but – always trying to improve that Saints defense. They're going to be scoring a lot of points, so there'll be one to get off get to the quarterback. So, what do you think about those 4, Joe? Then we'll do the last 4.
Yeah, Harold Landry to me. Harold Landry is this year's Watt. He's that kind of player. He's a tweener kind of guy, and but yeah, for the Titans, I think that'd be a good fit for him over there. So. I like that pick there. I think getting some value for him, this late in the first round. And then Arden Key. I'm wondering who is going to draft him. We've heard things about him. The off field and that kind of thing. So somebody will need to take a flyer on him. Does he go in the first round? He has that talent, to go in the first round. Whether or not people trust him to stay out of trouble will be the biggest question.
Completely agree, Joe. I think you've hit it, man. Just looking over my notes, I like it. We were very objective with our picks, guys we like, guys we didn't. So, and I like Josh Jackson going to Atlanta. They need corner help. So, and then I wrapped up here. I have Pittsburgh taking Jair Alexander. Now they need middle linebacker help, but they're gonna wait until the second round to do that to get their linebacker help. I have Jacksonville taking DJ Moore. Perfect pick for Jacksonville. Lost Allen Hurns, replaced DJ Moore with Hurns. Who did I have Minnesota taking, Joe? I have Minnesota taking D tackle Harrison Phillips, a guy that I love. I have the New England Patriots taking Orlando Brown, replacing Flemings. Even though Orlando Brown sucked at the combine, he just looked out of shape. But Bill will say, I like the player. And then I have the Eagles wrapping it up and taking Ronnie Harrison. Just to rock and play next to Malcolm Jenkins, get on the field. The Eagles, they're good.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
They're good. I hate to say it, they're good, and they can improve that secondary a little bit. So, Joe, what do you think? What do you think, Joe? Orlando Brown, New England. Who did I give Minnesota? Damn it, Joe. That's what I mean. These mock drafts are tricky, Joe. Harrison Phillips to Minna, and Jair Alexander to.
I like Harrison Phillips a lot, man. I think he's a solid player. You know, he's durable. You know, makes a lot of plays, man. I think he's gonna be one of these kinds of guys that stays in the league for like 10 to 15 years, man. Kind of like what's the guy's name? Brian Williams. Kyle Williams, right? From Buffalo.
Kyle Williams, yeah.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of that guy. So that'd be a good pick for Minnesota, man. And not that they need that to make that defense any scarier, but that would be good, man. It'd be a good pick for them. I think you get a lot of value.
You picking at the back of the first, so it's really where you start getting into your second round grades. I think this will be ideal for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Because they're still a tight end didn't go in the first round. So those guys are going to get pushed back. If you did pick Rashaan Evans like we did, you will still have a lot of good receivers in the second and third. Linemen, Billy Price hasn't went yet. So trust me, I would feel good about this first round panning out like this. You want those quarterbacks going up so good players can get pushed back. And obviously that's what happened with Minka in this draft. But I like it, Joe. I think this is a really good exercise, bro. For this to be like our first inaugural one, I think we slammed it, Joe. Really.
Absolutely, man. And teams do this. The Cowboys said that they even do mock drafts leading up to the draft. So these are exercises that pro NFL teams are doing. And, you know, the crazy scenarios, man, like a Fitzpatrick or somebody, you know, these scenarios can and will happen. So good stuff, man. I love it. Yeah, you got to be ready, man.
You got to be prepared, Joe, for the draft. If Dallas stands pat, that's what I would do. Me and you have been on record, so this is nothing new. If they go, they got to get to 7, and that's steep.
That's very steep, very expensive.
It's steep, Joe. It's steep. If one of the guys falls, maybe they could jump in front of like a Miami. So we'll see, Joe. Only 2 receivers win the first. Christian Kirk is still there, so it's gonna be fun, man. This is like, if this really happened, and I tell Cowboys, I tell fans in general, you can't do the fan speak mock draft. It's just not realistic.
Yeah, it has something happened. Something happened to the algorithm, man. It just isn't. It doesn't work anymore. Like, so I don't know what they did with it, but I hadn't used it this. I tried to use it actually, and it was just like, you're getting first round guys staying to the 3rd and 4th. I'm like, this is not real.
Yeah, DJ Moore in the 3rd round. So yeah, it was good. It was a good exercise at first, but now you got to be old fashioned like me and Joe. Sit down, write the notes out, critique it, be realistic with yourself, where you have guys rated, and that's where you can kind of tell. That's what we offer. Joe offers it on his channel. I offer it on mine. The realistic thoughts. It's not about us living in some fantasy Cowboys fan world. You know, me and Joe both said after this draft, we're going to be not like super bored like we were last year, like, just going pom-poms for Ryan Switzer. Right. I want to see how they draft and how they want to use these players. Seriously.
Right on. That's what we said, man. That's what we said. We weren't going to get head over heels over these guys doing small stuff in minicamp. That's out the door. You know, not going to happen this year.
Man, you're right, Joe. I mean, we're not going to be fooled. I want to see what Dallas's plan is for these guys. Yeah. I do.
Oh.
So, absolutely, I love it, Joe.
Great mock, man. We'll have to do some more of these leading up to the draft, and we're gonna be on site, man. So expect some footage from us there on site there at AT&T Stadium. We'll hook up there and give you guys some awesome content.
That's it, Joe, man. Thanks, man. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys follow Joe's page, Cowboys Blog, and obviously you guys are viewing this on my page. But Joe, make sure you put the graphic there, because we're both just trying to grow. Eventually, we'll be doing this full time. The podcast, we're gonna work on getting that going because, Joe's my boy. We just want to bring the realistic thoughts. And like you said, we don't agree on everything. Trust me. There's some things I'm like, I don't know about that, Joe. And Joe's the same way.
Right.
But, we just want to be realistic to, how the Cowboys would do things.
Absolutely, man. Great points all around. And we want to thank all you guys for tuning in each day that we put stuff out there and following our collaboration here. Thanks to all you guys. So we really appreciate it.
That's it, man. And on that note, Joe, I think it's time to rock and roll.
Peace.
Peace.